Alrighty, BoobTube's another one of Kip's clips. So, all the hoo-ha in the UK about the Rochdale by-election, it's easy to forget the killing goes on in Gaza. I was watching this, and not to my surprise, but it's always a wee interesting side note when Scottish IDF soldiers bounce up, you know.
Now, the United Nations has called for an independent investigation after reports that Israeli soldiers killed more than 100 people who were trying to receive humanitarian aid in northern Gaza. The situation, especially in the north, is dire, with airdrops seen as the safest way to get critical supplies into the area. Joining me now is Lieutenant Colonel Richard Hecht from the Israeli Defense Forces in Tel Aviv.
Israeli Defence Forces in Tel Aviv, you know, so he's... Or is he?
Lieutenant Colonel Hecht, thank you for joining us this morning. What is the IDF's understanding of what happened around that aid convoy in northern Gaza?
Hi, Sam. Thanks for having me. So I'll start with what you actually said at the beginning, where the IDF killed 104 people. This is incorrect.
West Coast accent?
We've been trying to facilitate the entrance of humanitarian aid to the north part. We're aware of the dire situation in the north. A very tragic event where there was a convoy.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but it's always strange when you hear like somebody that fucking obviously fucking stayed down the street from me at one point, if you get me. And now he's rocking up in the IDF, man.
Moving north on the coastline. And it was mobbed by a stampede of people. Very, very hard, very tragic. The law and order and the looting has been an issue. And we did everything we could. We were trying to accompany. And the only place where the IDF opened fire was on people that endangered our forces. There was no such a case. And I know I see you're now...
Right, the story's changed. Initially, the story was they only fired warning shots when they became under threat. Now they're like the only people we fired at.
Showing the movie where we intentionally fired on people trying to get the aid.
It was dark, wasn't it? This was in the wee hours of the morning. Are you saying that is the number of people killed disputed? More than 100?
So we're still looking into the numbers. I know that these are numbers that are coming from the Hamas. I would always take them with a pinch of salt. We're learning what happened there. But what I can say to you this morning, Sam, is that we did not intentionally fire at the people that stampeded the trucks. There was no...
We didn't intentionally do it. It was dark. We tripped up. My gun went off and it accidentally killed 100 folk, you know. After it started, semi-automatic bursts into the fucking crowd. I didn't think my bullets would kill them. Honest, your honour.
No such a thing. The only place where the IDF opened fire was when the mob endangered our forces that were trying to accompany and secure the convoy.
So some of the people were killed. We don't know the number yet. Some of the people were killed because they were basically stampeding, that they killed each other, is what you're saying.
Yes, that is probably the tragic case.
They killed each other.
So it's a...
Hey, Mohammed! Oh, yo, Mohammed! Hey, Ali, yo, let's go and get some food. Yeah, fuck you, Mohammed! Fuck you, Ali! I'm gonna kill you, bastard! That makes sense! They killed each other in a stampede after admitting that, well, we only really fired into the crowd when our soul started to twitch a wee bit.
Confusing picture then, isn't it? Because if people were so hungry that they were trampling each other and willing to lose the lives of
It's a confusing picture. You think?
Fellow Gazans in their pursuit of food, that they would divert attention to attack Israeli forces who were there to facilitate that aid convoy. It seems...
Unbelievable! I smell shit! That guy will know exactly that phrase, you know? Being Scottish and all, and fighting for the IDF, got to love it. Is it the UDF or the IDF? I don't know, same thing.
Confusing picture.
Well, when you look at the drone footage, again, we were also covering it with our drones. You don't see people there that were. You see people that the main movement of people was towards the trucks. There was a case which you don't see here, and again, we're talking about small numbers. The numbers aren't big, where there was a certain people that moved towards our forces in an endangering way, and
Aye, they were like that. Brrr, they were putting their hands up. Man, this is funny, isn't it? Fucking hilarious.
we had to respond, not in a lethal way, by the way. We tried to just make sure that they distanced themselves from our forces. But again, this is a hard reality on the
We shot them, not in a lethal way.
ground. Which
Although there's over 100 dead, we shot them, but not in a lethal way.
Hamas started.
And our drone footage shows everybody going towards the food trucks. The drone just didn't capture the horrible Mohammeds and Alis that wanted to feed themselves that came towards our troops in a bad way.
Was Hamas started. We didn't ask for this. We were totally aware and we're listening to what the world is saying to us about the situation in the north. We're still fighting in the north, and we're doing everything we can. You can see there's also a facilitation of supply coming from the air in multiple ways. We're totally aware and we're making efforts.
So to the extent that the IDF did open fire under the circumstances that you describe, how many Gazans were killed as a result of IDF fire?
We still don't know. We think the numbers aren't as high as they're being claimed. The issue here is, again, we did not, and why would we do such a thing, an open fire on civilians trying to get food from trucks?
But I suppose the other argument is that why would they start to attack IDF forces who were there to facilitate the aid convoy if they were so hungry they were prepared to stampede one another?
I don't think this is the story, Sam. The story here, on our perspective, is that we're doing everything we can. We didn't ask for this war. This could all be over if.
Sorry, mate. He's rocked up and fucking started kicking motherfuckers out their land. Fucking how many decades ago now? 70 odds. 70 odd years
Hamas
ago.
laid down their weapons and gave our hostages back. And again, we are
also expanding the illegal settlements in the West Bank, stealing more land, kicking people out of their homes.
We're now in a war zone. We're trying to move food to the north. And again, it's very challenging. We've been doing so for the last week.
The UN says that they haven't been able to deliver any food into the north. What is the Israeli government, what is the IDF doing to facilitate the aid situation, particularly in the north where the starvation, the humanitarian situation is so dire?
So these convoys in the last few days are an example of it. We're also trying to facilitate with other international entities supply from the air. We are totally aware. We're looking at options to make.
Heard enough. So there you go, man. How do you like apples, man? Fucking hilarious. But they were getting food, and then some of them moved towards us in a threatening manner, and we shot them, but not in a lethal way. There is 100 people dead, but I think they were killing each other. Got to love it. And there's a Scottish IDF soldier. Pretty sure that's a West Coast accent. Pretty sure. Pretty sure that was a West Coast accent. And what was his name? Hector. Alrighty, boob tubes. Get it. Got it. Good catches.
Cips, clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $9.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you ahead.